welcome to ዓለምና Media TV News. I am Victoria broadcasting from Canada, and these are the headlines for today's stories. African Union slams racism in the wake of Ukraine war. Ethiopian launches fund to low billions of dollars in foreign investment. Government critics held on dubious charges. Bringing you this and more in detail after the short break. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back from that short break. Now news in detail. The African Union slams racism in the wake of Ukraine war. The African Union on Monday condemned incident of racial discrimination against Africans trying to flee the conflict in Ukraine after Russia invaded the Eastern European country. Senegalese President Macky Sall, the chairman of the African Union, and the African Union Commission chairperson Moussa Faki Mahamat said they were particularly disturbed with reports that some African residents in Ukraine have been turned away at borders. Reports that Africans are singled out for unacceptable dismilial treatment would be shockingly racist and in breach international law, the two leaders said in joint statement on Monday. In this regard, the chairperson urged all countries to respect international law and show the same empathy and support to all people fleeing war, notwithstanding their national identity. Since Russia invaded Ukraine last week, which Russian President Vladimir Putin described as special military intervention, many foreigners residing in Ukraine, including Africans, have been trying to leave the country to escape the violence. Reports emerged early last Friday that neighboring countries such as Poland were demanding visas from foreigners, preventing them from crossing into the country. Polish authorities then issued a statement permitting foreigners fleeing Ukraine to live on their territory for up to 15 days without visas to the need to present COVID-19 certificate. But on Monday, Ukraine authorities were being blamed for discriminating against Africans and preventing them from leaving. Moving on to the other story, Ethiopia launches fund billions of dollars in foreign investment. Ethiopia is seeking billions of dollars of foreign investment as it presses on rich reforms to open up its state-managed economy and boost flourishing growth. Addis Ababa this month launched a fund aimed at attracting investment for at least 150 billion worth of state-owned companies and assets. Ethiopia is needing to regain economic momentum after it slowed down the COVID-19 pandemic and civil war in the northern region of Tigray. By allowing a large degree of private investment, officials in Africa's second most populous country said the launch of Ethiopian investment holding mark a key step away from the long-standing state-led development model that promoted national control of sectors such as banking, logistics, and telecoms. The establishment of EIH is a strong testament that the government economic reform agenda for growth and resilience is well on track. Mahmoud Meretu, the fund founding chief executive, told the Financial Times Ethiopian economy grew at near double-digit rate for the best part of 2 decades. However, the IMF said in its latest forecast that it expanded only 2% last year and it omitted growth projections for 2022 due to an usual high degree of uncertainty. Now moving on, government critics held on dubious charges. Nairobi, South Sudan's authorities have arbitrarily detained two government critics since mid-2021 on dubious charges. Human Rights Watch said today the government should free the two critics, Abraham Cole Aka and Cole Agagwa, and put on end to arbitrary arrests and detention. Lawyers for both men filed court petitions in February 2022 because they have been detained for months without being taken before a judge, as required by law, giving the authorities failure to ensure fair and prompt trials or respect fundamental rights. They should also drop the dubious criminal charges against the two men. This extrajudicial detention not only violates the fundamental rights of South Sudan citizens but compromises the integrity of the entire criminal justice system, said Jangwa Tudpo, South Sudan researcher at Human Rights Watch. Instead of throwing critics in jail, the authorities should enhance civil space and advance the rule of law, including respect for due process rights. Ahaka was arrested in July for proclaiming that the South Sudanese government will be overthrown that month. Kua was arrested in August for co-founding an alleged anti-government movement. Neither has been presented before court to be formally charged or to have their detention review pretended trial. The detentions are typical of long-standing pattern of unlawful detention and expose persistent weakness in the criminal justice system, Human Rights Watch said. Aka was held at the Northern Division Police Station in Juba town for a week without seeing a judge. Then he was transferred to Juba Central Prison. He has held there ever since without seeing a judge or being given any information about when he will be brought to trial, his lawyer said. In November, South Sudanese media quoted the police spokesperson General Justin Daniel saying that Aka could not be presented in court because he was unwell and was refusing to a mental health evaluation. Ake was previously arrested in April 2020 for violating government regulation to curb the spread of COVID-19 and charged with 5 offenses including public nuisance and criminal intimidation. His lawyer was quoted in the media as saying Ake had been tortured and humiliated by the police. A Juba court sentenced him to 1 month in prison and a fine. On August 2nd, the National Security Service arrested Cole, a former caretaker governor of Northern Gaza State, for co-founding and signing several declarations by the People's Coalition for Civil Action. The coalition, an umbrella group of reform activists, called for peaceful countrywide protests on August 30th to force the government to step down over failed leadership. The authorities have arrested and harassed all the real oppressive members of the coalition, including by freezing the bank's account, causing some of them to flee into exile. Cole is facing 5 charges of offenses against the state, subverting constitutional government, insurgency, banditry, sabotage, or terrorism, causing dissatisfaction among police force or defense forces, publishing or communication false statement prejudicial to Southern Sudan, and undermine the authority of insulting the president after a month and a half in detention at the NSS headquarters known as the Blue House. Cole was transferred to Juba Central Prison. He also has yet to see a judge or being given the prospect of an imminent trial. One of Cole's lawyers said that this health is deteriorating and he is in urgent need of quality medical care outside the countries. Lawyers representing the 2 men raised concern that the men are being held without trial due to political interference by the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. They said that the prosecuting authorities have been very slow to carry out investigations and believe they are abusing their dictatorial power about whether to take steps forward. And the international or those false and criminal charges should be brought promptly before a judge so that the legality of their detention can be established. Human Rights Watch considers the prompt and international law means no longer than 48 hours from the transitional detention, and note that South Sudan transitional constitution prohibit police from holding suspects for more than 24 hours without taking them to court when presented before a judge. Given the nature of the charges, said the violation of their rights, the South Sudanese authorities should immediately release the 2 men and drop the charges against them, said. The authorities have shown that they cannot guarantee them speedy or thorough trial, as so should at a minimum restore their liberty and respect the right to freedom of opinion and expression. This is where I end the news on ዓለምና Media TV. I am Victoria and thanks for watching.